Hello everyone, welcome back to Red Tone Studio. I am Chad, your host today, and you might see that I've got a bunch of mics set up, even a weird one here. Anyways, today I'm going to be miking acoustic guitar, and we'll go through some of the steps that I've used in the past and some new things that I'm trying out for today. So, I've got a client coming over, he's doing an acoustic song, just him, acoustic and vocals, and I want to get the best acoustic sound that I can because that's all that's going to be part of the song. So to do that, I've got 5 different mics set up here. I'm probably not going to use them all, but I just kind of want to see how I'm going. So, first one I've got is my Warm Audio WA-47. This one is sitting about 2 foot from the sound hole, or maybe the 12th fret when I'm playing, and it is also set to Omni. Getting closer, I've got the C414 from AKG. This one's going to be 6 to 8 inches away from the 12th fret, so more of a close sound. This one's in cardioid. And then I've got 2 LCT 040s. I think that's what they are, 040s. Anyways, they are in an X pattern, which are also going to be right at the 12th fret. So one's going to be facing towards the sound hole, and one's going to be facing towards the fingerboard. And then I've got the old SM57 that's coming over my shoulder, right about here, my right ear. I don't know where I'd put it if I were left-handed, but it goes by the right ear. So I'm going to be playing a few here, and then we'll jump into Reaper, recording these, and we'll kind of go through how I would mix them. We'll review how they sound, and then we'll go from there. So let's get to playing. So there you have it. Just the start of the sound, just a key of G strumming. A little harder every time through the pattern. We'll see how it sounds. Let's jump into Reaper. Alright, here we are in Reaper. As you can see, I've got 5 channels or 5 tracks with the WA-47 on top, the C414, the 2 match 040s, one for the fingerboard, one for the sound hole, and one for the SM57. Right now, we'll just have a listen here to this first section where I was playing a little bit lighter, and we'll see what you think. So, starting out, let's hit play. This is the WA-47. A lot of room is what I'm hearing, which makes sense because it was about 24 inches away. Alright, now we'll move on to the C414. This one is about 6 inches away. Much more direct sounding. It's got a little bit more low end. This is usually my go-to mic for acoustic guitar. So that sounded pretty good. Let's run our way back here. So now we have the fingerboard of the match 040s. Quite a bit quieter, but it was pointing at the fingerboard. Kind of only picking up the high end. Then we'll come on back and we'll hear the soundboard. bit more volume, a little bit more low end. And then finally, the SM57. I'm really surprised here with this SM57. Maybe it's because it was sitting by my right ear, but this is really how it sounded like in the room. Doesn't really have that high sheen, you know, like some of the condenser mics do, but it's got a really nice sound and probably work well in the mix. Probably not for an acoustic singer-songwriter type where you're really looking for high end, but I like it so far. So let's jump into how I would usually mix an acoustic guitar. So usually I would mix in the C414 and then the 2 match in the X pattern. I would take the fingerboard and go all the way to the right, because that's how it would look like on the stage when you're facing the stage, and then the sound hole all the way to the left, 100%. There we go. Let's have a listen to that. You can see how that really fills that in. Just the 2 matches together. So that sounds really nice. I'm going to loop this first section here so that we can play around with some EQ as well. So let's start with the C414. I like to use this RE-EQ plugin. It is free, by the way. It is my favorite EQ plugin. Bit of low end. We'll add a high pass. Maybe a little bit in the high section. Let me know in the comments how you usually EQ an acoustic guitar. This is what I'm going for, at least for this. Once I bring vocals in eventually, I might EQ it a little bit differently. Then I usually like to touch it with just a little bit of compression with my 1175 compressor, which comes stock with Reaper. Usually just so I'm just kissing it. Bringing in the fingerboard really adds to the highs. I think I'm going to accentuate that here with a high shelf. Kind of pulls the highs over to my right ear. We don't need these lows. Then we'll add the soundboard. Kind of do the opposite. Lows, not too many lows. Cut some of the highs. See, now that sounds nice. Now I'm going to insert a new track, which will be my reverb track. Oh boy, if I can type. Reverb, which is always set up with my large wooden room impulse, set to full wet. I know from experience to turn this way down, but I'm going to send all of these into that reverb. push those aside, so a little bit farther back with the match 40s. I usually run these up a few extra. We'll go to 5 dBs. So that's how I would normally mix an acoustic guitar. Might be a little too much reverb. Kind of depends on the song. But let's mute that reverb for now. Let's have a listen to adding in the SM57. Oh, let's start with the WA47. So I'm inverting the phase here. It sounds a little bit phasey with it inverted. So this is the hard part with multiple mics on the same source. We're just kind of putting it a little bit farther back in the mix. Or take that C414, sorry. That mix with that Omni setting gives a little bit more room sound, a little bit more reverb. You wouldn't have to use so much of the reverb plugin this way. Let's take out the C414. Yeah, it just sounds a little bit too empty that far away. Might work in some instances, but I like that C414. Let's have a look at the SM57. I definitely like to EQ that. I've got it extra loud, but you can see that it's got a lot of mids. Solo just that. So I'm taking out about that 2K. Giving it a little bit low end. Wanted a shell. There it is. Yeah, that surprises me. SM57 by the ear. I like it. So let's mix it into these 3. That sounds pretty nice. So that's how I would go about it. Add a little reverb to that one too. Push it a little bit harder into that reverb. Oh, that sounds nice. Move a little bit, let it play through, get to the heavier parts coming up. There's a little bit of a honkiness to it. Definitely my guitar needs new strings. If I had more time, I'd definitely try to find that frequency and pull it out. You can really hear it when you get into it. Yeah, so that's how it sounds. I would say I'm pretty happy with that. Depending on the song style, if it was more strumming, I would definitely pull those mids out a little bit more. and try to get rid of that honkiness. But for the finger picking there at the beginning, I think it sounded really good. So let me know, is this helpful for you? Leave some comments down below. If so, make sure you hit subscribe while you're down there. Hit the like button, of course, and we'll see you in the next one.